I was chatting briefly this evening with a couple of gentlemen about Brexit, and one of them has travelled a lot in Europe and had property in another European country. And these gentlemen were saying that they see no advantages to Brexit and that their lives have become much more complicated and difficult since Brexit. And it's a lot harder now for people who work in Europe or people who have property in Europe or for British people traveling around Europe and doing business in Europe. He couldn't see any advantages to Brexit, and he said that he knows people who've got property in France, and the local French people have become a little bit or very hostile towards the British expat residents with property in France. Since Brexit, they've become strange towards the British people that live in France and have property in France since Brexit, and so a little bit hostile. And this kind of, I mean, I'm a Brexiteer myself, but I was listening to these guys and I said, it's interesting. A lot of people don't realise that there's a big movement getting bigger and bigger now for Frexit as well. A lot of French people want to leave the EU, and people always talk as if the British are on their own. It's us against Europe, and we're the bad ones, and we've done something naughty, and it's us against the continent. But actually, there are loads of French people that want out of the EU. There's a big movement for Frexit in France, so it's not just us. Lots of French people want out of Europe, as out of the European Union as well. And I've spoken to a number of French people who've said they admire the British for our Brexit, and they want France to do the same. So I've had a different experience. I'm not negating their experience of the French, because a lot of British people think the French hate us. I've had great French friends over the years. I've always been treated very well by most French people. I've always found most French people to be lovely and not against the Brits at all. Certainly not against me as a British person. I've always had great experiences in the time. I've spent quite a bit of time in France, and politically, again, I've met a number of French people who say they admire us for doing Brexit. They would like France to do the same, come out of the EU and have their Frexit. And some French people are even a bit envious of us and admire us for our Brexit. So interesting, isn't it? I'm not negating those gentlemen's experiences or saying they haven't had those experiences, but I've had a very much more positive and friendly experience of the French over the years, and many French people respect Brexit.